Hey there guys, and welcome back to Mana Down Under. For today's video, we are looking at Trata the Silencer. Now, like all Commander deck ideas, it's just me going through the Commander, cool things to know about her, combos, cards you might want to include. No hardcore deck list here, but I will put anything I mentioned down below. At first I wasn't sure if I should make this video because a lot of other people have got it out there, and between all the other YouTubers, it's all very similar video. I felt like I wasn't really contributing much, but I want to do it because I like Trata and I will have a feeling of accomplishment because I've done all the other ones so far. So Trata is 4 mana for a 3/5 that can't be blocked. And her big ability is why everyone's decks are the same, because it requires so much build into and build around to support it. The decks are all going to kind of be the same, I think. So whatever she does combat damage to a player, exile target creature that player controls, put a hit counter on it, that player loses the game if they own 3 more exiled cards with hit counters on it, and then you've got to shuffle Trata into your library. So a few things to note with this. They need to have creatures to win the game. You need creatures to exile from them to win the game. If you're versing Storm or Control, good luck to you. Can't be tokens, because when a token goes to exile it disappears. They need the physical card in exile with a hit counter on it to win the game. You need 3 of them. And the shuffling, that's a big downside, which is a very unique ability, which can kill a player outright, well, they lose the game. But it has a huge downside, the shuffling away. So you can either shuffle it back into your library, or she goes to command zone. And we've tried to build a bit of redundancy into the deck for that, and so did everyone else's YouTube videos, but we'll go into it. So the 3 main cards in this deck which carry it really hard. You have Stronach Resonator. Everyone's mentioning it, everyone's talking about it. It's simply pay 2, tap, copy a triggered ability. Your commander hits them, trigger the hit counter, copy it. You put 2 hit counters on 2 creatures. It's a great removal at the same time. That's 2/3 dead, only take 3, very strong, and you could add other creatures with triggered abilities in the deck to kind of have a bit more synergy if you wanted to. Helm of the Host, like I say in every video it's in. It's a broken card, it's very dumb, and this is another one. So you put it on a Trata, you make a copy each combat, whether you want to keep the tokens back, or if you want to send them one at a time in to get those hit counters, it's a very good card, it gets you lots of hit counters. And the third one everyone's mentioning, Mirror Gallery. Because the way a Trata is so dependent on her, if we can have more of her, the better. We need to break the legend rule to do it. This is the only card in Magic that can do it, really. So with the Mirror Gallery, all the clones you can imagine. I like Clever Impersonator, Phyrexian Metamorph, Mirage Mirror. They're my favourite because they're very versatile kind of cards. Stunt Double, which is a better clone. Rider Application can be quite funny if you copy Commander, have 5 copies out there or something, and they gotta try and block it or lose. The Imposter here, he doesn't need the gallery because he still retains his name. It's kind of like Lazav in that sense. Good option, but it's about 20 bucks. Now, because we're so reliant on the 3 cards and the way a commander works, we have a lot of tutors in the deck for it to function properly. And some people don't like that commander. Some people hate it when a deck has so many tutors in it to keep the deck running consistent from game to game. These here are my preference, my favorite. They're not cheap, they're not budget, but I have got the transmute ones in here as well. I love Mastermind's Acquisition. It's a 4 mana tutor spell, or you can tutor from outside the game. Depending on your play group, you can have some good fun with it. Dark Petition, gain tutor spell for 5 mana, but Spell Mastery gives you 3 mana back to help cast the piece you've just tutored for, hopefully. Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, and Cruel Tutor, we've seen them before in Commander. Expensive, but very good. Cruel Tutor being a bit more expensive because it's printing, but because our key pieces are Artifact, Whir of Invention and Fabricate, great tutors as well, and they're a bit more budget friendly. And Imperial Seal, like I'm not saying run it because it's expensive, like $500 or something, but it's a good tutor. It's just another one of your cheap ones, and I love Portal 3 Kingdom, so I just want to put it here. I love Portal 3 Kingdom so much, and I think it'll be the next set like Alpha and Beta to go up, just saying. Your cheaper tutors are your Transmute. Now the Transmute cards are like a quarter each, they're very cheap. So you've got 3 that can tutor at 2 mana, you've got 2 which can tutor at 4 mana for your Helm of the Host, and you've got 1 at 5 which can get your Mirror Gallery. As a standalone spell, most Transmute cards are pretty janky for what they are. The cost is higher than what you should pay for that effect, but that's because you're including the Transmute mechanic in it. So you still can use them as a spell, but I feel most people, it's a tutor for that particular part. Your normal tutors are better because they can go all around, you can get the exact piece you need, where Transmute's a bit more restrictive, but it's a lot cheaper. We're talking like $200 cheaper out of the deck, so maybe it's an option for most people. Now that shuffling part, that's the big downside of the deck, the return part. I imagine most people command zone. I don't know how you'd keep playing it from the library. I don't know what you'd be doing unless it was a 99. So we've gone a few things here. I like the more permanent solutions like Erratic Portal and Crystal Shards to keep bouncing you out. The idea being Arata hits him, you get your triggers, so you get the hit counter and then the shuffling. You bounce it back to your hand or to another zone before the shuffling can happen, and the hit, because she's not there, she can't be shuffled away, and the hit marker still occurs. So that's how we're trying to break the rule. So, like I said, Portal and Shard, bounce her out. Deadeye can pay 2 to flicker on the spot. Capsize, it's not permanent, but with the buyback it's kind of like that. You can keep paying the extra 3, pull her out. Other versions, Supplement Form, bounce her out and put a token back in that's exactly the same. So that token can attack next turn. Venser does a lot in the deck, he's pretty good. He can bounce her back, he can kind of semi-counter a spell if you need to, or run your flicker effects. There's lots of them in blue. I just put 2 here, Essence Flux and Ghostly Flicker, but run a few actual traditional flicker spells to help avoid that shuffling part. Snap and Call to Heal are the more popular, I think. They've got good upside for their cost. Snap, return a creature to its hand and untap 2 lands, pretty much a free spell. And Call to Heal from Battlebond, I love it. Return a creature to its hand, its controller draws a card. Oh, is that you? You can play Phasing. Phasing does work in the deck quite well, it's very cheap, and you'll leave everyone scratching the head of the table. How does Phasing work? Phasing, the card just doesn't exist anymore, and when it comes back into play, it doesn't get to enter the battlefield effect. I believe phased out creatures return before the next untap step, I believe it is. Phasing's an old mechanic from Mirage Visions way back then. Not many people know what it is or how to play with it, it's weird. But good fun. Then you have the ninjas, they're a great way to bounce your commander out of the board. I loved Wedge from the Mana Source's part on Atrata when he was talking about the ninjas. So the idea with ninjutsu can be done before damage is dealt, but after blockers are declared. That's the prime target to do it. But you can keep casting ninjutsu all the way up to the end of combat, because a creature remains as an attacker, a blocked or unblocked creature till the end of the combat step, then that title wears off. No one would ever ninjutsu after damage, but in the sense of this deck, it's a great way to save our commander. You won't get the ninja effect. All ninjas have on hit, do something X. You won't get that because the damage has already been done, but you've hopefully got your hit counter off. Just another option, and it keeps your board presence nice and full. Ink Eyes and the Blade Oni are my favourite. Playing your opponent's graveyard in hand. The student can copy your commander, which could come in handy sometimes. And then you've got a lot more utility ninjas like the Arrow of the Deep draws cards. Throat Slitter is Doomblade on hit. The Shinobi make the Mill 2, which is Mind Rot. And the Mistblade bounces the creature back. If you have multiple copies or something, save them. Now in the support, I've added like a reduction area, because your commander is going to go to the commander zone a few times and the cost is going to get up there. Or if you're versing a really hardcore control player and they're not letting you get your pieces off, maybe you will have to suck it up and go the get her into the command zone, battlefield command zone plan. It's going to be painful, but you might have to do it. So a few reduction spells would be a good safe net, I think. The Medallions for blue and black, the Mortal Sun, which also locks out Planeswalkers, which is fine. We don't really dabble with Planeswalkers in this kind of deck, I don't think. And there's still a lot of Atraxa decks out there that love the Planeswalkers, so it's a fine card. And Heartless Summoning, reduce creatures by 2. Give them -1/-1 though, but we don't care about the actual damage. As long as we hit them, we get the hit counter, that's all we need. And for the rest of the deck, you want a ton of draw, find all your key pieces in your other tutor spells, and your control. You want so much control because your deck is fragile and it's got a key plan that it's trying to do, and people can see that very easily and try and disrupt it. So you need to protect what you're trying to do. You want a lot of board wipes, a lot of counter spells, and a lot of dead removal. With the board wipes, your commander changes zones a lot and you don't have much of a creature base. So when she's in the command zone, your hand, you can squeeze a board wipe or 2 in there, try and keep the opponents in check. You want all the counter spells, because if anyone tries to go into a counter war, stop you setting up your pieces, you got to protect it. And if anyone has any annoying creatures, dead removal is very handy to have. Consider things like Maze of Ith or Propaganda to try and lock out other decks that are really creature intense. Or consider Hall of the Bandit Lord to give Atrata haste. She is legendary, paid 3 life, use the mana on her, give her haste when she enters, and just fling her in there. And that's it for Atrata. She's got a very unique ability, makes it very fun to play. We don't see these kind of they lose the game effects very often on a commander in particular. The deck is strong in that sense, especially in a 1v1, but it does have a few downsides. The deck is very restricted to extra parts. because with the commander, you have to throw all your resources in onto her to keep her going and doing what she needs to do. And it takes up a lot of slots, all your tutors, all your support, protection, you control, like you need a lot to keep her doing what she needs to do. And the other things with it would be, as soon as your opponents see what deck you're playing, they will probably know how to fight it. They just have to disrupt what you're trying to do, like your key combo pieces, or just never let the commander hit the table. The deck is very focused on her. If you can't play her, you're going to struggle. You could totally just build it like a black-blue unblockable deck if you wanted to. Put a ton of weenies in there that can't be blocked with her. And like Voltron pieces, like swords and equipment, hope for the best. But overall, I think she's pretty cool. I like her. Good fun deck. But like I was saying at the beginning, I think a lot of the decks are going to be similar because everyone's built around her ability and there's only so much you can do with that ability. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Any cards you would like to recommend I haven't mentioned? Anything really spicy that no one else has covered at all? Let me know down below, guys, and have a good one. See yous. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and sub and click the bell icon for notifications. It's greatly appreciated. And if you have any deck or video ideas, just suggest them down below. And have a good one, guys.